Hi, everyone. I'm Patty Ann Brown, and you are in the strategy room. Hillary Clinton spoke Wednesday night before a gathering of black voters and leaders at the National Action Network conference. Let's listen.
And it is time we face up to the reality of systemic racism in all of its forms. And once we do, we are called to come together to break down all the barriers that still hold African Americans back from fully participating in our economy and our society. White Americans need to do a much better job of listening when African Americans talk about the seen and unseen barriers you face every day.
Well, this as Clinton looks to secure support from black voters in New York and nationally after a series of missteps this week. So joining us now are Democratic strategist David Mercer and Republican strategist Adam Goodman. Thank you both for joining us. So Mrs. Clinton said she was trying to be substantive in her speech, detailing specific policy plans that she would put in motion if elected. Some critics accuse her of pandering. Adam, what do you think?
Well, she's hitting all the right hot buttons. First of all, both Bill and Hillary Clinton have very long and established credentials and credibility in the black community. This is like a kind of a homecoming of sorts for her. She said the right things before this group. She talked about, equal opportunity, criminal justice reform, taking care of some of the environmental harm that's being done disproportionately to black communities, all the right hot buttons. What's interesting to note, because there was some comment about the tepid response that they had to her at the meeting, at Al Sharpton's meeting. And I'm not a big supporter of the Reverend Al Sharpton's politics. I think it's more owing to her style than to her substance. She certainly said the right things again, but her style is still very underwhelming, let's put it that way. And as much as I think she's improved in the last couple of months, that is still one of those things in terms of really finding a way to get there in terms of supporting Hillary that the jury's out on.
Yeah. Sort of a rough week for Mrs. Clinton. Bill Clinton had a heated face-off with Black Lives Matter activists over the crime bill that Mr. Clinton signed into law when he was president, and Hillary herself facing criticism for this skit she performed with New York Mayor de Blasio. David, are these gaffes going to hurt her with black voters?
No, they're not. And as we go through this process, especially the candidates going through this process, they're homing their skills. They are refining them. They're refining their message to various segments of the voting population. And I don't think that a couple of instances that you just cited in any way overshadow what Adam has just referred to or alluded to, the long history of both Clintons with the black community that spans decades. And in addition, the African American community remembers that all the numbers that should have been up as economic indicators or otherwise were up when Clinton left office. All the numbers that should have been down, be it unemployment and so forth, were down. And so I think there's a look to return to that and a restoration and a continuation of what Barack Obama was able to do in reversing the decline or the near falling off the cliff that we felt economically after the Bush years. So I think she's in good stead, and she's already demonstrated that, or I should say the black voters have already demonstrated that in South Carolina with nearly 30% margin on Bernie Sanders there, as well as other southern states and elsewhere. And I think you'll see similar turnout in favor of her in the black community when it comes to New York and California and elsewhere before going into the convention.
Back to last night's speech, critics say it was just campaign rhetoric, but supporters are expecting Mrs. Clinton to deliver on some of her promises, and those supporters include Democratic Florida Congressman Alcee Hastings, who had this quote for The Hill: "I believe she gets it. I think she'll listen to me and Congressman Charlie Rangel and Congressman Bobby Scott, those of us who've been around, and I think she would spend some time in the communities." Adam, what do you think?
Well, isn't it, I have to, just to try to be objective for a second. Obviously, there's been a lot of discussion about Hillary Clinton's credibility, in terms of truthfulness, rather, her veracity, her willingness to be square with people, the level of trust that the Americans have or don't have with her. I think there are doubts about that all across the board, except perhaps in the black community. I think it's fair to say that the Clintons have been there. They've come through for the black community in meaningful ways over the years. This should be an easy layup. And I think when she talks, every time she uses the words Barack Obama, I think she scores even more points in the black community. That's not where she's going to win or lose it. Her issues are elsewhere, but not here.
All right, we're going to leave it there. Adam Goodman.
If I'm
okay, quick final word, David.
I was just going to add that just imagine that with two-term presidents being out on the hustlings with and the campaign and Hillary Clinton, I can assure you there will be no voter left unturned in supporting Hillary Clinton going into the general election.
All right, David Mercer, Adam Goodman, thank you both for joining us. And for complete coverage of the 2016 election, go to foxnews.com. I'm Patty Ann Brown. Thanks for watching.